Well, good deal. Let's get into it. So today I got Kevin Van Voris on here. He does YouTube. He owns a bunch of businesses, and he's kind of a big Dodge guy from what I've seen. You got the Demon 170 out here, right?
I do.
Is that what they call it? Demon
170. I don't know why, but
there's been so many different renditions of that car.
Dude, it's like the SRT, Hellcat, Challenger, Red Eye. I'm like, dude, okay.
At some point, Dodge has to stop with that chassis.
I know.
They've wore it out.
I know.
What is it?
It's too much. It's, 08, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, it started 08 to 13.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long time. I think the only other car kind of comparable is like the GTR.
That or like a Wrangler. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like a JK. Dude, it's out of control.
At some point, they do have to retire that chassis. Unfortunately, I think the retirement is going to be in the form of EV.
Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan.
I imagine you keep a kind of a close eye on the Dodge stuff a little bit.
I do.
More.
It sucks because, like, I mean, I've got like a Viper. My wife's got a 392 Jeep. I daily a Trackhawk. So, like, I don't want to go to the next EV. So, like, I was like, well, if the 170, like, it might be my last Dodge product. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want an EV. I mean, if you're into EVs, that's cool. It's just not my thing. Like, there was 2 Teslas racing last night, and I'm like, zero interest in that.
Yeah, the 10.0 class was 2 Teslas.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
The final was a Tesla minivan and then a Tesla.
Yeah.
Which I guess you have to say that now.
Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was what did they call that thing? They're calling it something, the new Dodge with that EV. It's like a weird 2-door.
It's a Daytona. Well, it's a Charger Daytona Banshee, whatever. It's some long name.
And then they even came out with a Hornet SUV.
Yeah.
But that's funny because it's like the Mach-E, but the Mach-E's not selling that well.
Dude, no.
So why would they be like, that's not selling good, let's do the same thing?
Like, you should double down on what you're good at. Like, I understand, like, the fines. I mean, we're all, like, aware. But, like, Ford is still pushing the V8, so I just don't understand. Like, I would have been more fine with them doing, like, a hybrid of some sort. But I don't understand that aspect of it. So I don't know. The whole government thing, it's just kind of, it's lame. Like, especially for a motorsports fan. Even if you're not like into drag racing, you just like driving a V8. Like, it's just, I don't know. Once you drive a V8, I think it's different.
It's just cool that they exist too. Like, even if you don't own one, it's cool to see like a rumbling V8 drive down the street. Like, as a kid, that's what you want to see. And like, that's the cool factor. I think the 170, I mean, you would probably know, is the fuel that they have to put in, right?
Yeah, so it's because you can just run an E85, which is cool. So it's flex.
You were running it all weekend.
Yeah, it was on Ignite, which is, I mean, it's awesome. Like, I literally bought it from the dealership. I was like, don't even fill it up with 91. Like, I'm good. So it's been on E85. So it's cool. It's basically like a tuned Hellcat, like, from the factory, which is dope. So.
And what'd you go, 9.0?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone like 7 or 8 9.0s, and I'm like, Jesus, this can drive me nuts.
What did they say it was supposed to go, 860?
No, 891.
Okay.
And it's been repeated. I saw it in person last week. Some guy actually went 889. So it's been repeated. The old Demon, obviously, no. Like, but the new one, it's been repeated. So, like, they didn't BS about it, which was cool because everybody was like, it's going to be the same thing.
Well, when it happened in Vegas, that was 100% fake.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That kind of frustrated me.
I was there. So, like, I was like, that's not
like
that.
it goes by and then like just some random numbers pop up on the screen. I'm like, wait, that's not what it just did.
No.
Like, that was so weird to just fake a drag pass like that. Like, as a drag racer, to watch something get faked felt so
should have been there in person.
Inauthentic.
It was worse.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't just leave. Like, dude, sorry, Dodge.
It was I don't know, it was a weird deal. But it was cool to get invited to go out there. But some of their marketing lately, you could tell, like, when they got bought out by Stellantis, it's changed. Because, like, when they were with FCA, like, I used to every month get, like, a cool little, like, Dodge package because it's being, like, I'm like a Dodge influencer, I guess. So.
Pretty bougie.
I know, it's pretty bougie. But it'd be cool. They send you, like, stickers and stuff every month. But once they got bought out, they really backed on their marketing. And you can kind of tell, like, on their commercials and stuff, too.
Yeah, well, it dropped in on a helicopter, that whole deal. But I think anybody that drag races knows Vegas, DA, you're not going to go fast there. So it was the worst place to attempt it.
Like, go somewhere where the DA is good, like down south.
Anywhere but Vegas. That's like one of the worst tracks to try to race at.
Yeah, I think DA that day, and it was in March, I bet she was like 35 or 4,000. Like, it was not good at all.
They should have tried something. Just put some nitrous on it or something.
That's what I'm saying.
To fake it a little bit.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that. Yeah.
I would have been okay with that. So you got the Viper too.
Yeah.
The Viper doesn't really fit in with Dodge current products, I feel like.
No.
It's kind of like their like
it's so
stepchild.
different. Yeah. Like it's totally different. But I love it just because it's raw. Like a lot of people, like I was talking to Chase from Streetcar. He doesn't like it because it's too raw. Like he likes the Audi R8, which is cool. But like the Viper to me is just, it's literally raw as you can get.
And you have a 5th gen? Gen 5 Viper?
Yeah, Gen 5, yeah.
5th gen sounds like talking about a Camaro.
I know, yeah.
The Gen 5 stuff's so much better than anything else, though.
So much better.
It's like 1,000 steps above
the
the Gen 4, and like then they go so bad as they go back.
I agree. Like Gen 3s were the worst. Like that was just like your bald-headed like guy going through retirement type deal. I do like the Gen 2s though. That's when like they came out with like AC in the car and like traction control.
How nice of them.
I know. So like Gen 2 and Gen 5 are my favorite for sure. So it's always been a dream car of mine. So like just to have it is like one of my bucket list things.
Well, and they started to sound good at the Gen 5.
Yeah.
They sounded super tractory.
They did. They did. Yeah. But the good thing is like even they still sound like they don't sound like a Lamborghini or something like that. But you put like a little exhaust on it, it sounds super nice.
They do become the coolest cars with turbos though.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like what Aaron at Ninth Moto does.
I saw that car in person last weekend and then a couple weekends before that. It's wild. Like, and he told me it's 4,100 pounds. I didn't realize he had AC and all that stuff still.
Did you look in the interior of it? The cage and everything is like next level.
It's
tucked above the headliner in a Viper. Like
I know,
it's not like a truck.
I know Vipers are like squishing your head down. Yeah.
Like when he was on the podcast and I was trying to follow him because he's a lot smarter than me, so I was trying to keep up with his talk, and that car just works so well. I think it's one of the like fastest street car in draggies.
I'm excited to see what it does at 2K because that car, dude, in person, it's wild.
Are you bringing the Demon to 2K?
I am. I'm gonna get smoked in the heavyweight class, but I'm just going for fun. You know, I like drag racing.
The heavyweight classes are funny because they're heavyweight but no Mustangs.
I know.
So it's like kind of.
It doesn't make any. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'll blame that on the Mopar people because like some of the Mopar people, sorry, they are just kind of lame. Like they complain about everything. So like. Because those Mustangs are fast. You twin turbo them, they're nuts. Like
their chassis work better than anything else.
Dude,
too.
You have to give props where it's due, but like to complain, oh well, I'm like, dude, it's lighter. It works well with the twin. Like those Coyote engines are nuts. So, but there's gonna be like finally Hemis are starting to twin turbo their stuff. So that'll be interesting in the next couple of years because there's gonna be I think a twin turbo Demon and then a twin turbo Charger. I think. At 2K, so that'll be interesting to see what it does.
Well, the Gen 3 Hemis have come a long way in the past. I mean, even Rob Goss has one in what is it, Ultra Street or X275?
Yeah.
And they have to run more weight than the Proline engines.
Dude, it's nuts.
Like they put more weight on a Gen 3 Hemi than they do on like the Billet Proline or like the
It's funny how that works, yeah. But that guy's Rob Goss is like the god of Hemis.
He has gone through all the pain to
literally
get to that level.
Yeah, it's so cool to watch though. And he's the only challenger, like only one. Yeah. So it's cool.
And it's cool that it's still a challenger.
Yeah.
He could have put that engine in anything.
He could have, yep. So it's cool that he stuck with it. So I love watching Rob Goss do his thing.
The big Pro Charger on that deal.
I know, dude.
It's such a good car.
Nasty.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it last night because they were just finishing up.
That race, oh my God. I wish it wasn't the same weekend as Street Car because that would have been cool to go to.
I'm worried about it for TX2K. I don't know how excited I am for a Monday to Sunday race. It's a lot.
Dude, yeah.
Like that's a week gone just.
Well, because and the way he's doing it is weird this year, which I get it, like, from a business standpoint, like, it's a new town. Like, Dallas is weird. Like, even streetcar takeover events, I was talking to Chase, like, Dallas is kind of an odd city. And me and my brother have done a shootout there before.
Yeah, because you guys are from that ish area. Texas.
Yep. But Houston and Dallas, they're not even close to being the same. So I get why he's doing it. He wants people there longer so he got the track for cheaper. I don't really know, but.
Well, Houston's gone.
I know.
So that's like kind of forced his hand almost.
Yeah.
It's nice that Enos at least took him.
It's true. And I know Ennis is definitely cheaper than Houston. Like I asked about a rental before and I was like, it's doable. And I know what Houston was and I was like, oh my God, like for a day? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, like Bradenton, we're kind of spoiled. You can go out there any day of the week, basically, $300 all day.
Dude,
rental.
That's where I just was. And I pull up and I was like, there's probably like 10 cars. It's Sunday. The whole place is packed. I literally texted my brother and I'm like, what are we doing? Like
7 days a week this time of year.
That's insane.
Like always, there's always a rental. You can go, like I tell people that want to watch drag racing.
Yeah.
You can just drive by Bradenton and watch.
So sick. Like I pulled up and I was like, oh my God, I'd be here.
I'd
be here every day. Like, yeah, there's everything. Like there's some McLarens, Hellcats, like literally everything. It was great.
Yeah, it's kind of our unfair advantage because we get so much radial testing here. Yeah. Jim was saying it though with TX2K. If you need from Tuesday to Saturday for qualifying, you got bigger issues. Yeah, you shouldn't take that long to qualify.
No. Like I'm not gonna go down till Wednesday because I was like, dude, I don't need to be there on Monday. Like, what am I gonna do? Just tech in on Monday and like roll racing is Tuesday, I think. So I'm like,
yep.
What am I gonna do? Just hang out?
Kind of just sit around. Last year it got like kind of hailed on when we were there. We were like the first day we got there, it just starts sleeting on us.
No way, dude. So but that's the only that'll be the good thing. Like, because like. Although I don't live in Dallas, I'm really familiar with their weather. It's way different than Houston. Like Houston in March, it's like it's going to rain at 2K, or at least 1 or 2 days. Dallas, like it should be good the whole time. Yeah. So that'll be the difference with it. I just don't know where they're going to put everybody if it is going to be as busy because it's not like the stands aren't as big. They had to like pave a whole new area for parking. The shutdown, I know they had to extend for all the roll racing and stuff. Oh, so yeah, they had to do some work to it.
I wonder how the streets will be because I was even talking to Jay at Ignite, and he was telling me, I don't know if he cares to have this out, but he was telling me that he sent barrels of fuel to to Houston because people are still going there just to race.
See, and that because like Dallas cops are way different, and Dallas like highway like street racing in Dallas is not the same as Houston. Like, trust me, I've done plenty in Houston. I've done some in Dallas, and it's not even. It's like two different worlds. Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna. I bet you people are gonna go down to Houston literally just to street race.
That's what he was saying. He was like, I was still sending. He was like, I sent like 10, 15 like 55 gallon drums of fuel to Houston because people are still planning to race out there, which may be good for them trying to race out there. Maybe the cops will be like, oh.
I guess
they're not coming back. I know, this year.
Probably. They might get away with it.
And the Dallas cops may not be prepared either.
There's no way. If it's gonna have like,
it takes years to scale up to that level.
Yeah,
it's not just like an overnight thing where suddenly you have the manpower. But then Houston's that you got those rings that you can go around Houston.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how Dallas has that.
See, yeah, because Houston, I think it's called the 99. Is what I think it's that tollway or whatever. And dude, it's so nice. But in Dallas, they don't have that. Like, so that's where I don't really know what's gonna happen as far as street racing goes. I remember the first time I went to 2K street racing. I pulled up at a gas station. I was like, oh, this is like no joke. There's like 400 cars like packed in every gas station. Like, this is nuts.
Like a full Buc-ee's.
Yeah, literally.
Which not easy to fill up a Buc-ee's.
No, of course.
And then they're not just like your Honda Civics. They're
dude. Like these are, I mean, you'll get those
1,800 horsepower cars.
Yeah, you'll get those that group, but like those groups usually don't go the actual street racing. Yeah.
But as Garrett was saying, like they can't keep up anyways. So once the supercars get rolling,
dude,
you can't keep up. So it doesn't even matter. You can't just like follow them to the next spot. No, you're not gonna make it there.
Yeah. And then we went the first time we went to 2K. We went to that midnight performance because we're good buddies with all of them over there. That meet is nuts. Like they got helicopters flying over, just waiting for people to pull out. They got cops like out front, but since it's private property, they can't do anything.
Yeah,
it's wild, dude.
So what's your story? Because you are a YouTuber, but it is not your thing. Like you're not
definitely not my job. I'd literally just do it to like meet people because like I met you like on social media. I've literally first time meeting in person. So like it's cool. I like meeting people from all over. I've met some like racers. I've met business people. So that's why I like doing it. It's just
it's not a small YouTube channel. You got like 130,000 subscribers. Yeah. This is not like
it's not. I mean, I don't think it's big. It's decent. Like I don't do it full time or anything like that.
Pretty healthy YouTube channel.
It's decent
for like a side thing.
Yeah, for a normal dude. But yeah, like I focus. My real job is like I coach people for a living. I own a gym, and that's what I do, like to make my money. So, but like I do YouTube just for fun. Like people are like, yo, you already make a bunch of money. I'm like, dude, trust me. Like it pays for maybe some gas that I use, but like I don't do it full time. I would love to. That'd be cool, but it takes a lot of work, dude. Yeah. And we don't live in like in Amarillo. I don't live in the right city to do it. If I was like in a different like Dallas or Houston, where like I could make videos all day, like it'd be different. But Amarillo, there's like not much going on.
Yeah, why are you guys out there? What's the fixation on Amarillo?
What happened was, so I went to college, dropped out. Was in the real world for a minute, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my shit together, so to speak. And then I wanted to play football, so I literally moved to Texas and played football down there. I was gonna
college level,
college level football,
like D1, D2,
D2. Because my clock, like the crappy thing is about sports is like once you start your freshman year, even if you drop out, your clock still goes for D1.
Interesting.
So you only have 5 years total. So did that. I was gonna try and go to the NFL. That was a plan. So I went to California.
What position did you play? So?
It was kicker, punter, which is everyone's like, you're huge. I'm like, no. One, I'm not. But two, like, I just have always liked kicking. Played soccer for all my life, and then moved back to Amarillo because like I was interning for a guy who had his coaching business. I was like, maybe this is what I want to do, type of deal, training people in person. I fell in love with it. I moved back while I was like preparing for the NFL draft just for like a month. And some of my old clients like, hey, I heard you're in town. You want to make some money? I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to make some money. Like I'm 24 years old.
For sure.
Like, of course I want to make money. So that literally just snowballed. Like within 9 months, I opened up my own like 1,900 square foot gym. I was there for about a year, and then literally we started talking about building like what we have now is a 37,000 square foot gym.
Yeah, I've seen some photos of it, and it's like a facility.
It's retarded, like
a standalone, big ass building.
It's a legit gym. Like it was never part of my plan. I was like, I'll have like a 5,000 square foot. Like my plan after college was I was going to move to California or Vegas and go train like high end athletes, movies, like stuff like that. Just have like a really small studio and just do that. And then
what did you normally train people in, I guess? In the fitness world, I don't really understand too much, but
like general population mostly, but then as of like right now, I really focus on like the bodybuilding, powerlifting, like more competitive sports stuff.
That's what I thought. I thought it was more competitive stuff, not just like your regular guys.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I have 95-year-old clients that I train in person, but I've always loved coaching people. So, even I'll always train people in person. Like no matter how much money I make, I just like doing it. So, and I like working. But yeah, the gym was never like part of my plan. Like, so when that happened, even to this day, I'll walk in every morning at 5 a.m. I'm like, dude, what? Like, it's mine. It's weird. Like it's weird. Cause like me and my brother, we didn't grow up like with a ton of money. Like we grew up with a single mom. Like, so we didn't we weren't supposed to be successful people. So, so opening the gym was cool. And then my brother was working, David Van Voris is my brother. So he was working in a furniture store in Colorado, and I was like, I need your help down here. Like, come down. And this is when I had my small gym, and then I was like, we're building a big facility. And I'm pretty sure, like, he thought it was full shit because, like, he's like, how, like,
37,000 square feet.
Yeah, like, going from night, he's like, there's no way. So then finally, like, showed him plans and everything, and then he moved down before we opened the big gym. And then, so he's the general manager of the gym, and obviously he's got Cody Direct, which is his shop. So
fairly recent.
Yeah, probably. I think he's had it for a year and a half. He's killing it over there. So it's awesome because like, I mean, I love working with my brother because we also do like we hold races and stuff in Amarillo. So
what is it, flashlight
shootout, and then we do all out roll racing. So we're gonna hopefully in like 2025 we'll go back to going outside the state again. But it was just, we took a risk, and it was literally during COVID. And we lost money that year. Because, like, we didn't.
Doing the racing?
Yeah, how you going to know? Like, because we rented out all these facilities, like XRP, we went to OKC, went to Houston.
Oh, so you guys were trying to scale up.
We were trying to scale up, and literally, like, it was the worst. Like, oh my God, it was so stressful.
Because two different type of kind of running a race. Some people do it out of necessity in their local area, but you guys were trying to scale up like a race.
Yeah, so we started in Amarillo because like we have a track there, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But we have a track there, so no one's putting on events. Like Amarillo is so far behind. Like so we do car events like at my gym. Like we literally have car shows inside my gym, outside my gym. Like so we wanted to keep holding events at the track. It's a decent track. It's quarter mile. Like. No one's holding events, so I was like, hey, can I hold an event? Like, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. So, like, we just went from there. So
I say that all the time on this podcast, actually, is these local tracks are usually looking for promoters.
Oh, dude.
They would love somebody in the car world to go there and be like, hey, I'll make the flyers. Like, I'll get everybody here. Yeah. You guys just handle making sure that there's food and prep.
I mean, that's literally, so that's literally how it started. And then, so I think we took a couple years off because the track hired a terrible manager. So I was like, with the COVID thing, and so we stopped that. So last year was great. We had 2 races last year, and then we did our all-out road racing last year, which is great. So this year we've already got, I think, 4 events planned for 2024, plus all of our, like, GXK, FL2K, all the street car takeover events we're going to go to. So
only so many weekends in a year.
Dude.
They get checked off quick.
Oh, my God.
And especially because you have 2 kind of hobbies, I would say, where I'm sure the bodybuilding stuff takes a ton of weekends where you have to help people with that.
Yeah, so, like, I'm either, because, like, once summer comes, it's, like, racing or bodybuilding coaching, like, on the weekends. Because I'll fly to California or Dallas or wherever, like, I need to be to coach. And then, so... as if my schedule's not busy enough, so I had this idea. Speaking of the local track, we haven't made a video. I haven't even told anybody yet. But I was like, it's a good place to talk about it. So my track it's an old school track. It needs a lot of work. So what me and my brother are going to do is we're going to start a fundraiser to improve the track.
Okay.
So we're going to hopefully get the numbers next week. I got a bunch of like quotes on some things. Like the parking lot needs to.
Well, you have a couple weeks for this to come out anyway, so if you want to speak like it already is going on.
So hopefully by then we'll have like a website or something up. But yeah, we want to raise money to like make it a legit track because like I want to bring streetcar takeover to Amarillo. Like there's nothing, like there's so many small cities. Like I talked to Chase about it. Like we could easily, if I can get 150 cars at my little race, you should easily be able to get. But to get those,
this is actually a great move too. They sold the dirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anybody that's, I've raced at Bradenton for years, so I bought a little piece of their track and I have it in a jar.
That's really
cool. So even simple things like that
can
really drum up some local guys.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do is I want to raise money, and like I already talked to the track owner. He's like, because the track doesn't make any money, like not enough to fix it. Like
most don't.
No, most of the small tracks, they just have enough to like pay the bills. Like most track owners, at least this one, he makes his money doing other things. This is more of his parents are the ones who started in 1970 or something. And he's like, I'll be the one to close it.
It's like a passion project for most.
It literally is. So I told him, I was like, if you're cool with it, let me help improve it. So I want to redo the parking lot. I want to do the speaker system, the light. Like I want to do the whole thing and just do it in sections. And I figure like I'm in an age, I've been around Amarillo long enough. I should be able to, with me and my brother, we should be able to at least raise a lot of that money. Yeah. And then hopefully that'll be our project going into 2025 race season.
That'll be a cool video series for you too. And like, help not just be a video series for you, but also as it's going, it gains more attention. So it kind of feeds itself as it rolls.
Yeah, because like I want, like, listen, we've all raced on the street.
Not me, never. I never won on this street.
It's okay. I've been arrested for it, so it's fine.
I'll talk about
that. But like we've all raced on the street, but like I want to keep drag racing alive. Like whenever I hear about a track closing, I'm like, oh my God, like dude. So it hurts me. So like Amarillo is one of the few tracks in Texas that's still open. Like, and it's not going to close anytime soon. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere for a little while. Why don't I just use my resources and help try and make this track as good as it can be? It's not going to be like a Houston Raceway Park or an Ennis or anything like that, but make it to look like where you pull up, you're like, damn, they have a nice track for Amarillo. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. So that's going to be mine and David's passion project for 2024/2025. So
that's awesome. That's a very like noble cause, I guess you could say. I don't know if you would kind of.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like when you have a certain amount of people who follow you, it could be YouTube, social media, maybe you just own a business in your town, whatever it is. I feel like you have a duty to like help improve the city or whatever you're trying to do. So it's the same thing when I have car shows at my gym. Like people are like, I have a Honda. I don't care what you drive. Bring it out. I literally don't care, dude. Like I've been broker than most people. Like I don't care what you drive. Come out. Like if you want to sit in my Viper, sit in my Viper. I don't care. I used to be that kid. So like come get motivated, whatever.
Well, that's what people don't realize even about test and tunes. Like you bring what you have.
Yeah.
If that's all that you have in your daily driver, go to test and tune with it. If it's a daily driver, it's probably not going to break. You'll be safe.
Exactly.
You know, it'll be fine. Like I've sent my wife down in her SUV.
Dude, exactly.
That goes like 18s.
It's fine though. Like it's fun. Like
it's better for her anyways. I'm like, you got to learn the lights before you do anything crazy here.
Because I tell people, I'm like, listen, like you see all these guys going fast. You do not want to do what they do. I get. You don't want to have backup engines and backup transmissions and have a whole team. Like there's a certain line where like you kind of are racing somebody's wallet or sponsorship. You know what I mean? Like, so just go have fun. Like it's drag racing. Like you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, I hate the whole not going to show up to a race because of who's going to be there.
Dude, it's so...
Like, so-and-so is going to be there. I'm not going to show up. Like, I've beaten plenty of people I shouldn't have on paper.
Because that's the thing. Like, literally, it's a drag race. He could break. You could red... Like, there's so many variables. Like, so what? Just because you think he's going to be a perfect Pat? No. Come on, man.
I mean, yeah, it happened with me versus James Tall. He red lit against me, and he had me covered by probably 5/10. And I was just making fun of him because I was like, you knew you were faster than me. Why'd you choke up on the light like that?
Perfect example.
Like, he just wanted to, like, pound the light just to really be out on me. I was like, yeah, you played yourself.
It's true, though. Yeah. I mean, so that's what I like about drag racing. You literally never know what can happen.
What do you guys run at your events, then? Is it streetcar takeover style where you guys have, like, a few classes like that? Kind of.
We do a mix because I love big tire. Oh, my God, dude. Like.
Really?
Oh, yes. It's obnoxious.
That's a very Dodge guy thing, I feel like.
Yeah. But just, like, don't get me wrong. 275, like, small tire stuff, I absolutely love. But, like, when you get these pro mods, like, and you're in between lanes, it's like heart pounding. Like, so I love watching them. And because like we're in a small town, so we do have a lot of big tire cars. Like we'll usually get like 10 to 16 for a big tire race. Like
really?
That's not bad.
No, that's healthy.
Yeah, it's healthy. So I don't know, big tire stuff is just, it's so cool to watch. Now obviously like there's small tire cars that can spank these big tire cars, but just the engines and stuff, I mean, it's nuts.
Well, also on like a potentially marginal track, watching radial cars isn't as exciting.
Exactly.
Kind of gets a little boring if they're spinning or they're complaining about prep.
I know, yeah.
This kind of sucks.
Yeah, so we do big tire, small tire. We do like a boosted truck. We'll do an NA. And then this next year, which we've kind of been back and forth, we're going to do like a 10.0, an 11.0, and a 12.0 class. So we'll do a 12.0 and maybe a 13, just because our DA it's like a good day is like 6,000. So like you have to have those slower times. But so I don't know. I just want to make a class for everybody. That way no one's like, oh, I'm too slow. I'm like, oh my God, you're not too slow, bro. Just bring your shit out.
Just go win. You can win a trophy and some cash.
Yeah.
The slow cars are actually better often at winning.
I know. I'm like, dude, it's fine. Like, you're not going to bring anything.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. Even like with Streetcar Takeover, we've talked about that a little bit. Like, a lot of people worry about copying somebody's class rules, but that's kind of what the racers want.
Yeah.
I want the rules to be the same. It'd be frustrating if everybody was like, oh, I don't want to copy their rules. I'm going to have my own unique ones. And then you're like, well, you kind of ruined it.
We did that the first year because like I'm really good buddies with Chase and Justin. And like what they have is amazing. And like me and David want to do like our own spin on it. So that's why like we decided to do a flashlight instead of a Pro Tree.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't, it was the same thing. I was like, hey, I don't want to copy. And then after the first year, I'm like, everything's kind of the same. So like we literally have almost identical rules, but we go for 2K and FL2. Like we kind of go through all the races and see like who's got the most similar, and we just go off of that.
Well, because FL2K and Streetcar Takeover sat down in the beginning of the year and they figured out rule parity between the two, which you kind of needed because those two events really cross over.
They do.
It's almost like Streetcar Takeovers are like build up to like a big
to a big
events.
one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't even know if I've ever seen the Amarillo, Texas drag strip. Like, I don't even know if I've ever seen a photo. Maybe I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's old school. But the cool thing is this year, since like I've got my car, Dave's building a rear-wheel drive F-150 truck, which will have a 2K. So we're going to actually like race this time. Because like the first couple of years we couldn't do it. Like I'm running around like with my head cut off. Like and Dave's over here like trying to. So because it's cool because Chase and Justin get to race. And I was like, man, I want to get to that point. So now I've got a good team so that me and Dave can actually like race the class. Then be like, you know, you can like start shit and be like, hey, come race me at the track. Like if you want to say my car's slow.
Well, the like Bradenton's a small track. Like it's a small hometown style track. Like it's not like a huge tower or anything fancy. They just do a lot with
what they have. Yeah.
So they're always a good example to a lot of like they beat up on these big tracks all the time.
Yeah.
That can't get the right prep set up or can't fill up their stands. Like they're kind of a good like kind of beacon, I guess you could say.
I agree with that. Yeah, it was cool. Like I've never been to Bradenton, so like coming here for the first weekend, it's awesome. Because like to me, it reminds me of like a big small track. Because like it has everything you need from a big track, but it still kind of has like a small town vibe to it, which I really like. Because obviously like that's what we have in Amarillo.
You probably saw all of our neighborhoods going into.
I did.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I've seen so many videos, so like it was cool to like finally be like, oh, this is what they're talking about.
They're there. The dust from them was real.
Yeah, for Friday night because they couldn't roll race for however many hours because of that. Yeah.
Basically, for anybody that doesn't know, Friday at Streetcar Takeover was canceled because there was so much dust blowing on the track from the new construction that they couldn't have the race. So that's a pretty unfortunate thought. It wasn't canceled, but it was supposed to start at 10 a.m. and it started at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much a wash.
Mm-hmm, it was. So, but that, I love the track was cool, but yeah, the house thing, it sucks. Like, I don't know. Like, it won't be a big deal, but in, like, I would say 10 years, they'll probably have to start figuring out, like, what the plan's going to be.
It's kind of the consensus is 5 years they're going to be fighting, 10 years, it's going to be like, all right, you guys lost.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but it's like, they all know. The owners of these tracks know. They're not naive on that front. Mm-mm. Hopefully there's enough money in the end of it.
That's what I was like. If I owned a track and I knew it was going to be closing whatever, right? Like being forced to close in 10 years, I would just be starting to save up. Yeah. I'd start looking at land and I'd start locking stuff in. And then that way, like you kind of have an idea of what it's going to cost. And
the weird thing about Florida is so much of it is swampland that it's actually hard to find the correct like what you need.
That makes sense.
Even though it looks like there's a lot of land.
Yeah.
It's
actual
so
buildable
much
land.
Of it is wet.
Yeah.
Because Palm Beach down in South Florida closed.
Right, yeah.
And they were bought by a Walmart fulfillment center, but then the economy kind of turned and Walmart hasn't built their stuff yet. So now
I was wondering what
just sitting.
Okay.
And there's land all around it, but Palm Beach is basically an island.
Oh,
like the drag strip is basically an island because everything around it is so wet.
Really? Okay.
So they're kind of like, it's kind of an island, but they can't do anything. So it's kind of a weird, sad.
See, so it's funny because like the Amarillo drag strip can never be built on because it's in a flood zone. Does it flood? No. But once it's marked a flood zone in Amarillo, they won't ever build on it. So that's the cool thing. The track will be there forever as long as like we keep holding events and they keep at least paying bills. Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. I have no idea.
Go bury some bones there and make it like a
I know
as a burial
really
site.
Though, pretty much. I mean, yeah.
They pull that stuff every now and then.
Yeah.
Like
it sucks though. Just
release some rare birds.
It just sucks. Like the EV thing, and then you've got tracks closing down just because people want to build houses. And I'm like, you guys want us off the street, but then it doesn't make any sense.
And then there's the debate like, oh, well, if everybody's racing EVs, it'll be nice and quiet. It's like, oh, yeah, because that'll really fill up the drag strip.
That's really good. Yeah, exactly.
Can't imagine how many people are going to line up for that.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear nothing go down the drag strip.
And I'm not anti-EV at all. I do enjoy new technology.
Yeah.
But I like them versus gas engines. I like the competition of them.
Right. Yeah.
Not one or the other.
Yeah.
I think that's where people mistake is one or the other, but everybody does feel forced into EV.
I think that's the biggest problem. It's like whenever COVID happened, and it's like everybody's gotta get the shot. I'm like, You didn't tell me what to do.
It's crazy.
Same thing with EV. Like, let people choose. Like, if they want to drive an EV, a hybrid, or a gas guzzler, dude, it's their money. They work hard for it. Stop trying to force people to do things.
And that's always the thing, too, is like if car guys left to their own devices, we're going to probably have the most efficient car we can have.
Yeah.
And then also the most inefficient car 100%. That we drive sometimes.
You got to offset it.
Yeah. Like, because my day-to-day, I would rather drive something that gets like 80 miles to the gallon every day.
Yeah.
Because I don't need it to be very loud or gas guzzling.
That's true. See, I'm lucky because like my gym is like, I live like 2 miles away. So I'll drive gas guzzler all the time.
Hellcat engine.
Yeah, Hellcat engine GPS. So
those things are pretty freaking impressive, though.
It's if I had to pick one car that dodges, that would be it. All-wheel drive. It's super reliable. It's comfortable. It's got a Hellcat engine.
It seems like Jeep has never built anything good until that.
Yeah,
and even after. Yeah. Everything else in their lineup seems to fall apart.
Yeah, I don't. It's a Jeep thing you wouldn't understand. First of all,
Well, you had a Gladiator you're driving here.
Yeah, the guy's like, "Oh, you got a Gladiator?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's super awesome." Yeah, it's a Jeep with a bed. I don't know why.
It's like a. Yeah, those Gladiators are so odd, and then they do the 6x6 and just make them even worse.
It's ridiculous.
It doesn't look good.
No, it's people who have money and no taste. Yeah.
And there's quite a few of them in Florida.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
If Florida and Texas get those oddball deals where people think they need to add more wheels to their vehicle to make it better.
It's funny how similar Florida and Texas are. It's super, super similar.
But is that your Gladiator then?
No.
I was going to say.
No.
You didn't drive it here.
No. I literally got a rental for the day because I was like.
Had to get a Dodge product? Is it contractually obligated?
That'd be funny if that was true.
It has to be from Stellantis.
I know, right? Can I get this refunded, please? Oh my gosh, that's great.
You send like your
receipts.
A receipt.
That'd be awesome. That'd actually be really cool.
I mean, there's a chance that a deal like that could be potential.
You never know, man.
The new inline six though, they're pushing for their performance stuff. I haven't seen anybody really. Are they out? I haven't seen anybody talk about it or drive it.
They're in like the Grand Wagoneer, I think, and I don't know, man.
But I think they're supposed to go in some sports cars.
So, whatever the next...
Whatever muscle cars.
Yeah, whatever their next muscle car is.
Is an inline six still a muscle car at that point?
I would say no.
I wouldn't agree, and I have an inline six.
Yeah, I know that, right? Exactly.
In a muscle car, technically.
Technically, yeah.
It was a muscle car.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I really do not know what is going on at Dodge. Like, I would love to like sit down and ask them like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, the people that you have buying cars, they're all wanting V8s because you made it that way. And then, hey, we're gonna do EVs and inline sixes now. Surprise! Like, your whole demographic you built up over however many years, past like 15 years. Mm-hmm. Now you just
they really can't influence the market that well into EVs.
No, dude.
After they've spent years influencing the market the opposite way.
I know that's what
you're saying. Like, yeah,
it makes no sense to me. So like when I saw the Ford,
like we trained you guys to like these.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like I'm the way I am because Dodge. So thank you, Dodge. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I really have no idea. But when I saw like the F-150 Lightnings, like they're stopping production on them, like. Okay, so you guys are stopping, but yet Dodge is like, hey, so we're coming. I'm like,
the writing's on the wall.
Dude, no one is going to buy this stuff.
Yeah, it's such a weird, it almost seems like they're trying to flop so badly that they need another bailout.
See, and that's what, it's funny.
Like they need a bailout from their own electric decisions.
Yeah, because it's like, well, the government forced us to do it, and look what happened. So I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I do feel like that.
It's going to fall on the taxpayer somehow.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I'd almost guarantee it.
Yeah, of course it does. It always
the
does.
U.S. taxpayer, not just anyone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
of course.
The U.S. taxpayer. Shout out to us. Yeah.
We've been propping up the big three for years now.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Ford. I know they get mad when you say that.
No.
They didn't get a bailout. They got a loan.
Whatever.
But yeah, I think that's what they're going towards.
I've thought about that, and I was like, no, I sound too much conspiracy theory for that. But yeah, I think it's true though. I think they're literally doing it on purpose, just so they can be like, see, we tried, we told you guys. Like,
they're tanking their own product, but it just is so crazy to think like that and to say that out loud.
I know
that you would tank your own business knowing that the federal government's going to have to bail you out.
Yeah, maybe, but that if you know you're going to get bailed out, like, well, I mean.
But what are we going to not bail them out? Let them fail?
I know.
I agree with letting them fail, but it's going to be a lot of jobs and a lot of people out of work.
Yeah, well, and that's the annoying thing. Like, I mean, you can vote for whoever you want for, but if a certain person gets voted in November, what happens? Then we go back 4 years? Like, so that's what I'm like, are they doing it on purpose because they're not sure who's going to be elected? Like, because, you know, if someone who rhymes with frump gets elected, you know, like he already talked about, like, he's getting rid of all that stuff. And it, like, I talked to the CEO of Dodge, and he said the only reason that they did the DM170 is because Trump got elected, so they had like a certain amount of time to get it done. Otherwise, it was never, the OG was that was it. But when he got elected, they're like, oh, we have 4 more years, so we got time.
What a weird domino effect.
It is. I'm telling you, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like the MAGA edition.
I know.
At that point.
It really is. They should do a Trump edition.
It kind of is.
So hilarious. You get the Trump sneakers with it.
Yeah, right. Like the gold.
The gold.
Somebody should have done gold everything on their option out.
Oh my God,
like
dude.
the MAGA edition.
I would die.
The worst taste in homes ever.
Literally. Yeah.
Everything gold.
Just straight gold.
It's so bad. Even like the planes that you see, like gets on his plane, and you're like, "What are you doing,
like
man?"
It's a guy from Austin Powers, that gold dude. He's like, I like gold.
Everything he touches, it has to be gold.
It has to be gold.
Yeah, it's a delusion of gold.
I'm telling you, dude, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know. Like that's such a weird domino effect to be a Demon 170 from working on election year. It sucks that they even have to think about that. It sucks that that any decision that an auto manufacturer has to make comes from not the customer.
I know.
It should only be dependent on what the customer wants.
Yeah.
Not any outside source.
No, because it's like any business decision I make, I'm not like, oh man, what's the government gonna think? Like, should I do like? Yeah. So it's weird, but because you're right. Like, usually, like for my gym, for example, it's like, what do the gym members want? Not like, oh, what? I wonder what the government thinks I should like. You know what I mean? That's weird. That's a weird way to think about it.
Yeah, like they're thinking completely not consumer friendly option here.
Yeah.
And even everybody sells crate engines, but those are so expensive. It's not even worth it.
No, dude, you can get a built motor for like half the cost usually. I mean, it's nuts.
I was talking to David Patterson, and he got one of their crate engines, and he had to build like a Magnum for their zip tie drags.
Yep.
It was a nightmare for him. They wouldn't let anybody use anything but a T56.
No way, really?
So you had to be stick shift. And he was like, they gave me this motor, and then I had to like. They assumed I had like they sent a motor, but it had no accessories, no ECU, no nothing.
What? Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Like an extra like $50,000 building this thing just to go to their race, and then just blew the clutch up in like 4 passes.
No way.
And just let go.
Oh my God.
Because you could have put a Turbo 400 in it and been so happy.
You've been fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
And then you put it in a Magnum too. So I mean. Now you have a Magnum.
I'm a fan of Magnums, though. Some of them, they look pretty good.
When they put the Hellcat stuff on them, it looks pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm like, man, that's pretty sick.
They should have done that, because I have a CTSV wagon, so it seems like
well, I mean, that's like one of the best, my opinion, one of the best cars ever made. Like, it's just...
Greatest wagon. Long roof.
Oh, my God. It's perfect. If I see one out, I'm like, oh, my God. Like... And they hold their value. I saw somebody selling it for like $80,000. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Mine is just missing that stick shift option to really push it over.
Yeah.
But it's got 60,000 miles on it. Triple black. So it's like kind of like the collector edition.
People would pay a lot of money for that.
I just like to sit on it a little bit. Like every time I walk in my garage, I like to look at it a little bit.
I was going to say.
Like one of those.
I just be like,
the Gen 5 Vipers too, though. They're just going up like crazy. Mm-hmm. And... maybe we're in an inflated market still.
Yeah, but like they'll never go down to like what the sticker was. There's no way.
Especially when you get down to the rare colors, like there's that green one where there's like 4.
Yep, striker green. Yeah, when you go to ACR like 101 option, oh dude, like they're still going for like 350, 400. I'm like, the sticker was like 150.
That's crazy. I didn't realize they were going for that much.
Yeah, they're nuts.
Or like the purple, that Nth Moto has one in purple, I think.
Striker purple, yeah.
And now it's crazy because there seems to be so many that are twin turbo and like sequential.
Yeah, I know.
That it's going to be even more rare to have one that's like stock, unmodified.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's because
Calvo's not far from you guys either.
No, Calvo's in Austin. They build some awesome stuff too. Yeah, between NTH and Calvo are probably the top two, like as far as Vipers go.
Yeah, there's not many other people I would want to send a Viper to.
No.
Kind of the short list.
Yeah.
And they've probably worked on all of them at this point.
At this point, yeah. Or the only reason other shops do them is probably just because they're too busy. Like, I think Calvo is probably a year out, and I'm sure NTH is probably the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was at Hefner's looking at his. He's got he bought back an old, like one of the Ford GTs turbo deal.
No way.
Yellow with like black stripes, and it looks so good. It's such like he just had it under a car cover, and he was just like showing me the wheel, and you could just see how happy he was.
I was gonna say what?
Knowing it's like in his possession still.
Oh my god.
It's I mean that's like peak car.
Yeah, that is peak car. Yes.
That is like. I just saw they were selling a black on black one at Chicago Motor Cars.
I saw that too, dude. Looks like a shadow.
The black on black, like you wouldn't think that it would be the right color choice for that.
My god, no, it looks so good.
That's the move. So we got to talk about your raid and what happened with that.
Let's go for it.
Because I shared it when it first happened.
Yep.
And I was pretty frustrated to see it. But I guess we need the backstory.
I'll tell the whole thing.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh, man. Okay, so...
You're a delinquent, degenerate street racer.
Yes.
Is how it starts.
Yeah, so, like, if you Google what happened, like, the article is, like, Kingpin, street racer, Amarillo, and I'm like, what? So, what happened... What happened was
Toretto over here.
I know. So what happened was like a month before it happened, one of my buddies was like, "Hey, like a cop told me that you might get in trouble, but there's a couple of us like of a video." And I'm like, "Of a video of what?" And I was like, "A video of like us cruising around." And he's like, "Yeah." So I really didn't think anything of it. Mm-hmm. A couple weeks later, one of my clients called me. And that I used to train, I haven't trained in a while. And I took her daughter when I had my original Hellcat. This is like 2017, before like stock. And her daughter was like, "Can I get a ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So like back then, like the popular thing was like putting a kid like in the front seat and doing like a pull
in a fairly new car too. At that
literally
time.
Like brand new.
Yeah.
And she wore a seatbelt. Like literally, in the video, it's like me putting a seatbelt on. No big deal. Your mom told me like covered all my bases back then. And she was like, "Yeah, some officer's asking about, like, the video." And I'm like, "The video's, like, 6 years old or something. What are you talking about?" And she's like, "I didn't give any information." I'm like, whatever. So that freaked me out a little bit. So then when I wake up, normal day, I'm like, no big deal. Back out of my driveway. I'm like, "Man, there's a cop, like, 2 cars down. Like, this is so weird." Whatever. Didn't think anything of it. Go to the gas station, get a Ghost, like I normally do. So get on the freeway. I get pulled over by the same cop. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So cop comes up. He's like, "Do you know of your warrant for an arrest?" And I'm like, first thing comes to mind, I was like, is this really over a video that's like 6 years old? And so I didn't know my house was getting raided. So my wife is home alone. No idea.
So those two things are happening at the same time.
Literally same time. Yeah. So what happens is like I get pulled over. They get me out of the car. I was super cool. Like literally for a second I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I literally say, "Can you say that again?" He's like, "There's a warrant out for your arrest." So I like took a deep breath. I was like, "All right, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "You can get out of the car." Get out of my car, no big deal. Put me in the back. Then I hear him like walkie, like, "Hey, he's in the back of a police car." And at that time, that's when they go in the house. I don't know.
And then you probably were putting together that there's
I literally had
quite a few people doing something else because he's talking to someone else.
Had no clue. So in my head, I'm like, is this really over like the video like of the girl? Like this is insane to me. Like she didn't give me any information. Even if she did, like statute of limitations is 2 years. So in my head, I'm like, the fuck is going on? So cops are real cool. I'm like, "Can you call my brother and just let him know like, hey, I'm in the back of a police car?" "Well, I don't think we do that." I'm like, "Listen, I own a gym. Like, I've got clients. They're going to be freaking out. Can you just call?" So they call. My brother, like, is freaking out because obviously like a cop called. So either a cop is calling because someone's arrested or someone's dead usually, right? So call him. At the same time, right as soon as I call my brother, cops show up to my gym to take my brother's cell phone and then one of my buddy's cell phone who was living with me at the time.
That would
again.
That wouldn't.
Had no clue what was going on. So I'm
somebody taking my cell phone though. That would not fly.
No. So
what an invasion of.
It is. It is actually. You're not supposed to. They can take your phone, but they're not allowed to like get into it.
Such an invasion.
So I'm in the back of the cop car. I'm literally like half asleep because I'm like, am I asleep right now? So like my car's on a tow truck. I'm headed to Randall County Jail. Never been to jail before, so that was cool.
You get a bologna sandwich.
So I get there and I'm like, all right, take out your socks. So there was the only thing that saved my ass from not going into actual prison was I had $2,000 in my center console and I said, can you grab that? I don't want the tow truck driver stealing it.
That was his tip at that point. Yeah.
I know. So he grabbed it. He gave it to me, or whenever I checked into the prison, they said, hey, your bail is, I think, $1,500 or something. Do you want to use it? I'm like, hell yeah, get me the hell out of here. Don't have a phone. It's 2022. I don't remember anybody's phone number. My mom's, my brother's, and my wife's. That's it. Like, so I have an assistant. Don't know her, so I'm calling the gym. Well, no one's answering because there's cops there and everyone's freaking out. I have no clue what's going on. Finally get a hold of her. She comes, picks me up, and then she's like, your house is raided. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Never get my phone back. They took my phone without me even knowing. Because I'm like, hey, can I get my phone? And they're like, well, the cops took it. I'm like, okay. So then I go back to my house. My wife is freaking out. My house is like trashed. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like in the attic, they like ripped everything out. Like,
did they have a warrant?
They had a warrant, yes.
Okay.
But like on the warrant, it says they were searching for street racing like video stuff. I'll tell you the back end afterwards, but I figured I'd give you the story. So everyone's freaking out. Like, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Dave's like, yeah, they took my cell phone. Like, they were trying to like do a bunch of stuff at the gym, but they couldn't because they didn't have a gym warrant. They only had a warrant for the phones. And then, so go home. Everyone's freaking out. I go pick up my Jeep because I had to go. I mean, they towed it. So I go pick it up and then whatever. So at this point, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. That night on the TV, it's like my mugshot. And then it says like street racer arrested, like Kingpin. They're like saying all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, what? And so there was like, so what happened? So everyone knows the whole raid story. So it got raided, whatever. So I'll back up now.
I mean, I'll be honest. They were like, oh, we can really paint this guy. He's a young guy, owns this successful gym, big tattoos, nice cars. Like, we can really kind of paint like a picture here.
Because I have, and I've posted on my YouTube channel, like the cops go into my shop where like, at the time it was my Wreck Demon, it was a brand new Red Eye, and it was a Magnum that I was going to build. So I had those cars in there, and the cops were like, oh, these are some nice cars. Like, I literally have it on video, and I've posted it. And then the most famous line, and which tells you exactly what they were looking for, is they go in the freezer in my shop, and they open it expecting it to find drugs. They said, it's just broccoli. Like, literally. There's
no bodies.
So it's like, so it's like a big joke now. And I was
Weren't they trying to cut the camera, too?
They cut 3 cameras in my house.
So they disabled the security cameras as well?
Yep.
Frustrating.
So then, like, I didn't know the house. I knew the house got raided, but I didn't see anything. So, like, me and Dave literally go to Verizon because we're like, we're never going to get our phones back. Buy a new phone. So I go, luckily, like, I download the app through Vivint, go through the camera. I'm like, oh, my God. So then that's when there's, like, the video I've posted several times. There's, like, 8 or 9 police officers. One of them's holding a sledgehammer. And I'm like, AKs and stuff. I'm like, bro, you were acting like I'm some...
I'll link his channel in the description, so if you want to go watch these in-depth videos, they're good watches.
But I'm like, are you, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, knock on the door. Like, I didn't know. And then after my wife told me, I'm like, what? So then I go through the video, and I'm like, holy, like as if they were going to break down the door. Like, my wife's by herself. I'm still traumatized. Like, I'll see a cop drive by the gym. I'm like, for a split second, I'm like, damn, are they, like, coming for me? So I'll back up now. So what actually...
Well, was it the DA that was spearheading this?
Yeah.
They were like, they kind of had an agenda.
Because they were told that. So just to give you guys an idea, my gym cost, I think, 11 to 13 million to build. Okay, just throwing that out there. You can't build a gym with cash. At least I can't. Like, I don't have that kind of money. Even if I did, you're an idiot if you build a...
Just invest all of your cash.
Right. So what you do is you get a loan from a bank, which I signed my life away several times. So what happened is there was someone, which I'm 99.9% sure who it is, and I'll tell you why, that was friends with a police officer that told them that the only way that I open my gym is because I sell drugs out of the gym. And I'm like, okay, if I was making that much money, don't you think I'd have a cash business? Why would I be taking people's credit card? You know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense.
I think I saw the wrong movies.
Yeah. So I'll back up all the way before. So there's a local gym in town. The owner is a female, and she calls her members like fat and out of shape and like all this stuff. And I've got screenshots of this happening from the people who used to go there. So I told one of the girls that I know, because they were all reaching out to her, asking if they could come to my gym. I said, hey, you know what? Tell them to come to my gym for a month for free. Don't pay anything. If you like it, join. We'll get you signed up. No big deal. If you don't, no big deal. But at least you don't have to worry about some lady calling you overweight and you're out of shape, and just because you don't look like a Gymshark model, you can't fit in.
Doing the correct marketing to get clients,
right?
Like a gym owner would.
So magically, a few months later, that's when everything started happening. The lady that called me that had the kid in my car went to that gym. And the only that video is so old, the only people that would know that video exists is the people the gym that she went to, because of how old it is. Because they would only know that because of the daughter. Yeah. You would only know that person because of that. So
she couldn't fathom that you were profitable enough to build this mega gym while she was yelling at her clients.
Pretty much. And there's things that the husband of that gym does, with the members there and stuff. So it's this whole thing. I was just trying to be nice and be like, hey, if you guys want to come to my gym, that's great. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So then that's literally what started the whole thing. It was just because somebody said that I was selling drugs. Now, obviously, because if they would have found something, I wouldn't be sitting here.
You were basically swatted.
To the 9th degree.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of just a SWAT.
Yeah. It just sucks because what they wanted to happen, this is never on record or anything, but the warrant was just a way to get in my house. My lawyer was told that, the judge, I literally have talked to people who were doing the case. That's the only, it's not on any paper. You can't find it, but they do this all the time. It's not just in Amarillo, it's everywhere. They just need a way to get into your house. And they're like, oh, see, we found whatever. So that's what they're hoping to find. Obviously, I don't even do drugs myself. I drink twice a year, maybe. So the whole thing, it was insane. But what they really wanted to affect my business. And the cool thing is, all my clients were like, we know you don't sell drugs. And the street racing video, it was a joke. It was us going on a cruise, barely even doing anything. And it was outside of city limits. It just happened to be in the same county. So the bad thing is I got arrested once. And this is how much they were trying to get me is I was arrested once. We were going to have a huge Easter egg hunt at my gym, which we get 4,000 to 7,000 kids come to this thing. It's nuts. And we have a car show and a burnout contest, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, so the second time I was going to get arrested, a warrant magically comes up for my arrest again 2 days before. So what I was told is they were going to arrest me in front of all these people to make me look bad. Because again, at that point, they didn't know if they found anything at my house or whatever. So they were just trying to see if there was anything on my phones, this about drugs, or my computer. They literally took anything electronic. They took my Wi-Fi router. Yeah. Why did you take my Wi-Fi router? There's no information on it. But yeah,
took your Roomba.
Yeah, pretty much. Look, anything that had a plug, they took. So they were gonna arrest me. So I got that warrant taken care of, and then me and David, and then Misa, who's my little cousin who wraps all of our cars. we all go to Potter County because then another warrant comes up. And I'm like, is this going to happen every weekend? So that was the last one. But I had to go to jail 3 times.
Oh, and you've got lawyer bills stacking up too.
Nuts.
I mean, luckily you're successful, but doing that to somebody that's not.
Yeah, but like spending like, I mean, I spent 5 figures like because I had to replace every electronic.
It could completely ruin someone.
Yeah, it could. Luckily, like I was in a position where, I mean, 25 or 30 grand, it sucks.
Yeah, of course.
It absolutely sucks, but like I got it done. Like that money was going to go towards other things, but
I'm sure I was just more saying like that could have just really like what those cops did and what that DA did could have really ruined someone's life over nothing.
Over nothing. Yeah. So luckily, like I'm not the greatest person, but I have a pretty good like face in Amarillo. Like people know me that I always do like we always hold events and we're always doing like fundraisers and stuff for local community stuff. So like I'm always doing stuff. So like people know that like this is BS. It just sucked because like someone was like trying to ruin me. And like you always, I even said this in a video, you always hear about people like you got to watch out because people are going to try and like ruin you. I'm like, I mean, what? That's a real thing. People get jealous because of you're doing something. I'm like, what people don't understand, there's so much money to be made. Like there is plenty. It's not like you could literally have the same business next to each other. People are going to like what they like. It's crazy to me. I wish people would understand like you could work together and make more money, or you could do this thing where you're going to like fight against each other and do this lame shit of just trying to like be better than the other when there's so much money out there. You can have your clientele. I can have mine. Like you can have your shop. I can, you know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff. So it was wild. Like it's one of those things that like you hear about and you're like, that'll never happen to me. Yeah, it definitely did. So then I had a bunch of YouTubers like which I've watched forever. Like I'm talking millions of subscribers. Like, hey, are like, am I going to be next? Because then a couple months later, Texas came out that law, like, which you got to be careful. Like now, like in Texas, if you post anything street racing, like the takeover stuff, it's 2 years, and like they'll just wait, and then they'll go get you. Like they made a new rule.
And you put it out there, so
and if it's on the internet, it doesn't even matter if you're the one doing it. If you're there, they'll get you in trouble now. So I like
have they busted a lot of people you know of? Like
there's a few people that have actually not like big YouTubers or anything, but like
just people in general.
People. Yeah, there was a big. I think in Dallas they arrested like 60 people a little while ago at a takeover, which takeovers are whack, but. Yeah, if you're even there, like they don't mess around. So like, luckily, like all my videos were super old. They only had, I think, one video of me racing a CTS-V. It was me and my buddy on the highway, and like it was racing on the highway and reckless driving. Like it wasn't anything crazy.
It's a ticketable offense.
Nothing like they would come raid your house with. So that's what was lame about it. I was like, you guys made it seem like you're doing all these things, and then. Like, I bet you they spent...
Your registration was expired, so, we got a warrant.
House. Yeah. But, like, I bet you they spent 125 grand just on my raid alone, because what I didn't realize, my wife told me later, is there was a drone in front of my gym, like those big, big drones in front of my gym, because she was doing cardio, and she thought we were doing, like, a video for the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm all, not at 5:30 in the morning. No, we're not.
Tax dollars hard at work.
But, like, you don't think about that stuff. Like... Yeah. So what's even funnier now is, so like, it happened, whatever, I'm over it. There's a few cops that go to my gym. One of them, the guy is holding the sledgehammer. Like, so, and he's super cool, but like, even he wasn't sure like how I would be. And I'm like, bro, you were doing your job. It's the people up top who said, yeah, let's go raid this guy's house because we didn't track him or anything. Like, if you would have followed me for a week, I literally go to the gym at 5 a.m. I come home at 8 p.m. like, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm boring as hell, I promise. Like,
it's the perfect cover, having a massive, successful gym.
Yeah.
That's the perfect cover to sell drugs.
Yeah, I'm not like in Colombia, like, oh yeah, let's go like ship this over. I'm like, no, dude, I'm at the gym like training people every day.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, he has nice cars. Well, yeah, he also has a 37,000 square foot gym. Yeah. So
it's wild, bro. It's wild. So it was just, I don't know. It's one of those things that'll always like be talked about, and it'll always just be like mind-blowing to me.
Well, it's scary too, because I mean, we all see videos of how bad the trigger discipline is on some officers when like a noise you know, a door slams, or I don't know if you got a dog, but like,
well, we do. Yeah, I agree.
A friggin' dog barks, and all of a sudden,
well, and that's what I was worried about. Like, my wife is home alone, like with my dog. She like was hearing this banging. She was in the shower, so she came out in like a towel, and she sees 9 guys, and they're like pointing at her, like as if she's like some drug dealer, and like, bro, what? Like,
did you see that Eggcorn video?
Yeah,
with the cop, like something like that. Like an Eggcorn fell, and he put 2 full magazines into his own vehicle.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's wild. Some of that stuff, it's really out of control, and like you always hear about like police brutality, like all that crazy stuff. That'll never happen to me. And I'm like, no, that is real, dude. Like, that's real. So that'll just be one thing that I never wish. I literally would never, not even my worst enemy, not even the person who made up the story about me, I would never wish on them, because it's like, it's damaging forever.
How do you push back though? Because like, okay, now they were wrong, all this, like, do you have any legal recourse to push back and be like, hey guys, you know, I have all these lawyer fees, like, can you sue the county? Can you sue the DA?
I talked to, so.
Is it worth it?
So like for example, so I could have fought my like reckless driving and my racing on the freeway. I decided, because I couldn't make any social media or YouTube because I was freaked out. I was like, whatever I say, even if it has nothing to do with anything, they're going to use it against me. So it was either A, just say, yeah, I don't care. Let me just pay the ticket. I'll be on probation for a year, whatever. Or you could fight it. But with me, what I was told, all they're going to do is they're going to push it back year after year after year after year. And then they'll decide, it's okay. Like, and then they'll just get rid of it. Like my buddy Misa, who was arrested, because there was like 8 of us who got arrested. So he got arrested for one of the videos that he was in. It was the Viper versus the Civic, and but he fought his and he won. But I'm like, but they don't want you. Like with me, they wanted me. So like even David, like I told him, I'm like, just pay the fine. Yeah. Serve your 6 months and it's over. And I've thought about like calling them out, like, but I'm like,
serve 6 months probation.
Yeah. But I'm like, is that gonna do anything for me? Like in reality, like, so I decided to just take the higher road and be like, screw it. Like everybody in town, like Amarillo is a small, big town. Everybody in town knows who it is. Everybody in town knows what happened. Karma is a bitch. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I could have like went after them and done all these things, but I'm like, if I'm gonna have a business in Amarillo, do I really like want to go down that route? If it was just me as a normal person, I probably would have done it. But me being like on YouTube and me like having a business, at least one, if not several, but I don't want that to come back on me and be like, no, we have to like get him now, and then just watch everything that I do. So like I could have done stuff like that. I just decided not to. I was like, I'm so over this. Like I just want it to be done.
I just feel like everybody would agree if you were going after the DA or whoever and okayed that.
And trust me, like I went back and forth with my lawyer about it.
Thought about it.
Yeah, I went back and forth on it, and she was honest, and she's like, you can do it. You just have to remember, like, if you do it, you're going to live in Amarillo for how long? And you're going to have to be dealing with this for... Yeah. Because they're like, I could have won my cases, and then what? I literally have to watch everything I do. Everything I put, like, because they're going to just be waiting for me, and I'll screw up once, and then it's just like back to square one again.
So frustrating. It
sucks.
So corrupt.
Yeah, it's catch-22. It's like, what do you do? So... Yeah, because people are like, you should have fought. I'm like, dude, if I was a normal person, but then it would have never happened if I was a normal person. It's because I own a business and I'm on YouTube and I'm on social media. Like, and I'm not even a huge person, but like in Amarillo, like I'm huge, but like, so it's crazy that that's what the world we live in is. You can just say something about somebody and then next thing you know, like, but it's like the girls who like, they'll go and be like, this guy did whatever, and nothing even happened. I'm like, you can't do that. You are ruining that dude's life because, you know, if he's a professional athlete or an actor, and then it takes 2 years, but he's not guilty. But everybody already has the public opinion, right? Yep. And then to me, at the end of the day, that's what matters is the public opinion. Like, whatever happens in the courtroom, right? But public opinion is a huge thing. Like, whether you're right or wrong, like, the public is going to dictate if you're right or wrong.
Yeah, I growing up in high school, one of my like assistant teachers there, he was on that Duke lacrosse team, which was one of the early cases of all that.
Yeah.
And I think that all came out to be not true, but his reputation was always that. And he was like the lead scorer. So he was like the guy, but his reputation was always damaged.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he was a being the world's best lacrosse player in college doesn't really get you anywhere in professional sports.
But still, it's that public opinion.
It was unfortunate for him. I mean, he was kind of a dick anyways, but
yeah. But
it sucked. I felt bad for him because that's the worst case scenario.
Dude, it sucks, bro. Like, that's why I tell people, I'm like, be careful what you post, be careful what you text people, because like you can always like misconstrue stuff. Like, just be careful. Like, you got to be, especially like if you have any following, even if it's just a little YouTube channel or whatever, if you have, especially if you have a big one, like you got to be careful what you post, be careful what you say, because some people are gonna be like, take it the wrong way. Yeah,
or you gotta have really thick skin.
Yeah.
Because I say some things that are crazy, nothing that's like, nothing that's like damaging like that, no like sexual assault type of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, otherwise it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I agree though. Like, I mean, I've been training clients for like years, and like we'll joke around and stuff, but like, you'd never want to put that, like, people would be like, oh my God, like, and lose their minds. I'm like, bro, like, you don't know the relationship that you have with people. Like, you can talk to people a certain way, right? Like,
well, even you saying stuff about, like, we talking about Trump earlier, like that.
People freak out.
People freak out about that on social media.
Yeah.
It's like, it's insane. I don't even understand that part of it. Like, you could be a bad guy for just saying that.
Yeah.
It's so hard to walk around on eggshells. And you were even talking about other YouTubers messaging you worried about themselves. Yeah. And people like Kyle1320 have been posting street racing forever.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when I see people post in Texas, like, one of the newer, like, up-and-comers, his name's, like, Boosted Lucky. He's, like, super good. Does a great job with his YouTube channel and stuff, but he'll post street racing stuff. I'm like, bro, you're like, bigger than me. Like, you got to be careful with what you post. Like, and I don't, like, it's your channel. You can do whatever you want. I'm just talking, like, I guess, like an old head now, but, like, because I've been on YouTube forever. But
experience.
Yeah, you got to be, like, but it's the same thing with, like, 1320. I'm like, man, if someone really didn't like you, it would not take much. That's the bad thing is, like, you can have a lot of people who like you, but it just takes one person who doesn't like you, and they can just turn you in. Like,
and thankfully, 1320, they do blur out the people they're filming.
They do.
Whereas other channels, they don't blur out anyone.
No.
If they're doing street stuff, they will blur out the other party, which is nice.
Yeah, and but that's what it's hard, like, because the problem is, like, that's the thing that the new rule in Texas, like, say me and you are street racing, right? And I'm videoing and you're videoing, we both blur it out. No big deal. But what about the idiot down the street who doesn't blur it out? Then, we posted it, but if he that's what people are going to get in trouble is because everyone's got their phones out now. So, like, no one's blurring it out on their phone. Like, if me and you do it because it's on YouTube or whatever, they're like, well, you guys blurred it out, but we saw from this guy's video, so we're connecting you two to that race. And it's like, so that's where, like, in Texas, you just got to be careful, like, you can post whatever you want. I don't care. I mean, it's just me talking out loud. Because trust me, I love street racing too, but it's not worth going to jail and losing.
It does become an odd thing, though, when you think about profiting very heavily off of something that's illegal.
I know, yeah.
Because, like, it is odd.
It's super odd.
It's not, like, far off from selling drugs, where you're profiting very heavily off of, granted, it's a victimless crime until it's not street racing.
Yeah.
Because nobody gets hurt until somebody does.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what was that, 3 years ago at 2K on the street races? That guy killed somebody.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, people kill themselves, or unfortunately, somebody that's an innocent bystander on their way to work at, 2 a.m. when people are street racing.
Just getting T-boned.
And it happens, and it's super sad, and that's why I try to, I haven't freaking gone over like 100 on the street in a long time.
Yeah.
I've been pretty much track focused for the last 5 years.
Yeah. But that's why, like, me and my brother, I'm not a huge fan of roll racing at the track. It's okay.
Even
like,
roll racers aren't.
But like, that's why we want to at least try to help get kids off the street. Like, is it the same? No. But at least you can go and, like, pretend instead of, like, doing it on the street. Because literally, like, I got arrested 2 weeks later, which it just makes it, luckily, like, nothing else happened. But 2 weeks later, 2 kids Well, actually, one guy and his whole family was in a Hellcat Durango. One guy in a, I think, Mustang were racing each other. The guy in the Durango killed his whole family in Amarillo. And I'm like, oh my God, I just got arrested for me being the Dominic Toretto of Amarillo. And I'm like, they're going to think like this is all my fault. Like as if I'm promoting street racing.
Well, there was a really popular case in Tampa as well a couple of years ago where it was two, like, they were like 16, 17 years old in Mustangs, street racing in like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on
like in full-blown traffic, right?
No, it was on like Bayshore Drive, which is this nice like water drive where people are walking and like it's like kind of curvy and like it's not like a road anybody with like half a brain would street race on.
Yeah.
And one of the kids killed a mother and her baby in a stroller. He was 16 years old. Oh my God. He's still in jail. I mean,
he's probably for what, life, I guess?
I don't know what he ended up getting, but like that's not street racing. No. That's like anybody like intelligent enough would know that that's not the same street racing as, 2 a.m. on the bridge when no one's around and no families are in the car with you.
Yeah.
There's different that like a time and a place. You have to be smart about it.
Yeah, 100%. Like
that kid deserves everything that he gets. Like that was completely wrong and he needs to be made an example of, but it's so different than...
Oh, yeah. But I even, like, when I got arrested, I said, if I did something illegal and I hurt somebody, take my ass to jail. Like, my dad was killed when I was little because some dude fell asleep at the wheel. Like, take me to jail if I do something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. You guys are just trying to make up a case. Like, if I killed somebody and I was street racing and being an idiot, I deserve to go sit in prison for the rest of my life. So that's what people don't understand. If you want to street race, go do it. Like, if you're going to do it, be smart about it. Go, like, at midnight or whatever on a freeway when there's no one around, or a back road when there's no one around. And the only two people who are going to get injured is going to be you two. Like, don't
bring a crowd.
No.
You don't need 50 other cars to watch it. It, like you got to be smart. I try not to promote it as much as I once kind of did when I used to do it. I since I became, I guess, more known.
Right.
I hate to like kind of talk like that, but since I became more known, I try not to do that kind of stuff as much. And I kind of cringe when I see people that are even more known than me kind of do like reckless things. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, a lot of people are watching that.
Because the bad thing is people are going to
cheering it on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was so cool that you just went 180 in traffic. Like, I
agree.
Cool.
I'm like, dude, and I don't know, like maybe just me getting older, but I'm like, but even when I was younger, I would never ever race like midday in traffic. Like, no, what? You're going to do that? Do it like late. Like,
and I never had anything fast until recently.
That's what I was saying. Like,
but now people that are 16 with a Ford GT, like a new Mustang GT, like that shit's way faster than anything I had when I was 16 to 20.
Dude, I had a Hyundai Elantra forever. Like, it's like, I don't know, 160 horsepower. And I was
you weren't street racing.
No, I'm like, dude, what am I going to do with this thing? Yeah, exactly. So oh my God.
It's tough. And that's that was the other part of the debate on that Bayshore thing was like, well, why did his parents buy him like a Mustang like that? It's like, it's a tough situation.
Yeah. I mean,
like, should your first car be 500 horsepower? Mustang.
Yeah, I guess the same. I don't know if you can afford it. I guess
if you can,
like
even like an SUV, that's even scarier. Like a 700 horsepower SUV.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, you can go buy a Trackhawk. Like what's different?
Well, that's scarier because it's heavy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you hit something.
You're putting 5,000 pounds into somebody. Yeah.
And we in Florida, we have bridges that are well known.
Yeah.
Because they're concrete.
Oh, no way.
And the cops can't sit on the bridge to wait.
Oh, no way.
They can only be on the other side of the bridge waiting for you, or when you get on the bridge. So as long as you get your speed down by the time you're on the other side of the bridge, you're fine. And you can see the end of the bridge.
Hilarious.
So it's clear.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt anyone.
That's amazing.
If something happens, you're going in the water by yourself.
That's wild.
So we're well known for our bridges. There's like a loop of like 4 of them.
No way.
You can kind of
That's cool.
Cruise. And I used to live right by them. It was right by the Air Force Base in South Tampa. So
that's cool.
All the Air Force guys loved it.
Oh yeah, I would too.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's great.
Oh man,
I was I was reading Kyle Loftus's post last night talking about bad, incompetent shops ruining the automotive world, and I was like, man, it's definitely very true. And I know your brother just opened one, so he's probably
like the amount of stuff. Because my brother's like super OCD, which is great as a shop owner. But the problem is like, if you get your car, you take it to another shop, and I've had to do this. You take it to a shop, they do a terrible job, then you got to go then this guy's cleaning it up. So like,
and that other shop may not want to touch what other shop did.
So Dave was like, you know, when you first opened, like you're taking whatever. Like, so now he's like, I'm not taking any other, like either you build it from the start with me or like, I'm not going to take it. Cause like, it's not worth it. Yeah. Like there's so many issues. It's like, and dude, some of the work he sends me, I'm like, I'm pretty sure a toddler could have wired this better. Like it's embarrassing. Like, I mean, my God, like I'm not, you know, the most mechanically inclined person, but I could have done a better job than that. Like, it's insane the amount of bad shops.
That's funny. So he's the mechanically inclined guy that can work on cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have Kyle's post here because it was actually pretty good. It's bad, crooked, or incompetent shops are killing the inner car passion in their paying customers' hearts. That's the saddest part about modifying cars today. And I thought it was a pretty good post, and Kyle had a ton of traction on it. Yeah. Everybody wants to call out these shops that are bad, but then it's tough also.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty deep-rooted a lot of the time.
A lot of the time. Well, like, I compare it to, like, because there's, I don't know, thousands of shops, right? It's the same thing with coaching. There's thousands of coaches. For, like, one good coach or one good shop, there's probably 100, if not more, terrible shops or terrible coaches. So it's the same thing in the fitness industry. It's just different.
Yep.
But instead of like someone's health, you're messing with like sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars with shop stuff. Like it's crazy because the way it works in coaching, I lost 100 pounds by myself. I think I can do it. Well, I built my Hellcat. No, you put a pulley on it. So you think you can build like a full engine. Dude, no, that's not how it works. So that's so it's sad, but it's so true.
It's painful. I mean, I know so many friends that have went down this route of just like bad shop after bad shop after bad shop, and just like it almost snowballs where the car becomes so bad.
Yeah, you just have to sell
after that many situations, and you're just like it's almost unfixable at a certain point because these people have just ruined it.
Yeah,
and it's so tough. And I was excited when because I knew your brother a little bit before he started a shop, and I always like seeing people that are good people start shops.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, that's like a nice breath of fresh air, I guess.
It sucks because he just like, he gets frustrated way too. And I'm like, bro, you got to stop like taking everything in. Like, which I know like you want to take in what you can, you want to fix stuff, but I mean, he does amazing work. Like he's the only person that touches my car. Like if I need something done, whenever I decide to do whatever with the Demon, like he's the only one that's gonna touch my car. Like
it's a painful uphill battle for an automotive shop.
It's crappy because like it doesn't matter what city you're in. Like in Amarillo, there's shops that have been there for 30 years and they're terrible. But it doesn't matter because they've been there for 30 years. So people are like, well, I'm just gonna go there because they've been here so long. I'm like, they suck, but you don't know any different. Like
that's all I got.
That's all you got.
And you're kind of screwed in that. Yeah. In Florida, we have a lot of shops, but a lot of them are shady. South Florida, pretty much all of South Florida is shady.
Yeah.
Like Miami area is just like a... You don't want to buy a used car out of there.
Hell no.
You don't really want to get much work done out of there. It's just...
Well, and I think it's worse here because like, or probably in Miami or like bigger cities because there's a lot of money. So like people can take advantage so easy. Like, if you got a Lamborghini or whatever it is, doesn't matter. Like, I mean, it's sad when people are like twin turboing hundreds of thousands of dollars of cars and they're getting screwed over. You're like, you can get screwed over with like a Honda or a Lambo. Like it doesn't matter what. The same people have those same shops. Doesn't matter which route you're going, but
yeah, and like the wealthy people that are writing $100,000 checks are probably just like, cool, like I got a good shop, he'll just make it nice.
They don't know any better.
Kind of easy to screw somebody like that over who just wants it done right, and they're not going to micromanage. They're just like, call me when it's done. Here's the check.
Yes.
Then 7 months goes by, months.
And you're like haven't got my car back.
I thought I had a yellow Huracan. Where is it?
Yeah, it's true though. Yeah, I mean it's so true.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. What do you think is a bigger niche, the fitness world or the automotive world?
I literally think it's almost the exact same.
Because they seem pretty comparable size.
Yeah, it's super similar. And the funny thing is,
influencers and everything across the board.
It's like the same thing. I would say fitness influencers are worse than drag racing influencers, but there's some bad. I mean, like there's some bad car influencers out there.
I Photoshop my time slips just like they Photoshop.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's wild to me, but yeah, they're super similar. But it's funny because that's why I think a lot of people who work out are also into fast cars. So there is kind of that crossway between them. So, but yeah, I would say it's probably about the same.
There's some pretty good crossover there. Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I was like, man, like even like amount of money that it brings in and like just size of industries are probably really similar size and amount of people.
Yeah, because you have the supplement industry, which is huge. You've got the auto parts. I mean, those are both huge markets. Yeah.
Billion-dollar industries. Yeah. Well, the EPA doesn't like automotive as much, but
it's true. Yeah, it's funny because the FDA is supposed to regulate they don't do anything. But EPA, they don't mess around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the FDA is also a pretty horrible organization as well.
They're not very good at all.
Because you could just pay them money and get things passed by FDA.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It's definitely seeing some of like the documentaries on some
Dude,
stuff
it's
that's
so bad. It's so bad.
Way too much sketchy stuff is done by the FDA.
Dude, it's bad. Like it's embarrassingly bad. So.
And that's, I mean, I'm sure in the supplement industry is crazy difficult to weed out the bad ones.
Well, yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing with like parts manufacturers. Like there's people who just make shitty parts, but they keep. It's the same concept. The only difference is you're putting it in your body versus putting in a vehicle you're driving.
Yeah, that is scary. Putting something
in your body. Yeah, you can't replace that. You can replace parts, but you can't really.
But once it's in there, you're kind of stuck.
I was gonna say you're kind of stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, the health spiral is a crazy one as well. Once you start like, oh, that's not good for you. Oh, that's not good either. That's not good either. That's not good either. And then you're like, I
guess I'll just drink water until someone says that's bad. And then
you walk around the grocery store and you're like, it's all so gross. It's all so bad.
I know. It
gets so difficult.
I know. Well, there's like 47,000 different ways people think about like health and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, it's out of control.
Things have changed. It's like, oh, one day, like, butter's bad.
I know. I'm like, now it's good. You got to put it in your coffee. I'm like,
milk's not good. It's like, wait. It's like, I think it's just sugar's not good. Why do we keep saying fat's not good?
I know. Yeah. That's the problem with, like, people who don't know anything about, like, nutrition. And I would say it's probably the same. Like, nutrition people are probably, like, tuning people. Like, tuners and stuff. Like, I would say the same thing. This should be running this way. No, it's this, like, very rarely two tuners are, like, on the same page.
Yeah.
So I would say it's probably similar to that.
That's funny correlation between the two.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. How can they follow you? How can they keep up? Maybe if they're local, they can come get coached.
Yeah. I'm always at my gym, Contagion Athletics. You can always follow me on YouTube at Kevin Van Voris. Instagram is CaliBoyKev. You can follow me on there if you want. I'll be at 2K. I'll be at a lot of the streetcar takeovers.
Yep.
If you want to come race in my hometown,
check out his Demon 170 on Air Ride. It's there you go. Hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
It's cool. It's a cool looking car.
I just love pissing people off. It's great.
I thought it was great. I thought it was cool. But yeah, everything will be in the description, guys. Go check them out. Go check out the videos of the arrest stuff because it's pretty interesting if you want to get a little frustrated.
It's pretty good.
Watching local government work.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Good deal, man. Thanks for coming on. That was fun.
It was good.
Well, all right, guys, we'll see you next time.